Maido. Hi there, Japan fans. Today's show, we're going to talk about Josh Shapiro's speech at the Democratic National Convention. Present, Master Shimasho. This is the 8th year of the Presentation Japan series podcast, and we are beaming around the world to you from sunny Minato-ku in Tokyo. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, or in Japanese, Anatamo Present no Tachijin. My other books include Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muda ni Suru no wa Yamimashou. And my just released new book is Japan Leadership Mastery, and all are available on Amazon. Through this podcast, I want to help you become a better speaker to be 1, clear, 2, confident, 3, persuasive, 4, highly influential with those around you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series, and every second Tuesday, the Business Tachijin no Oshie show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series, and every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcast show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast, and Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 403, and today we're talking about why did Josh Shapiro's convention speech fall flat? Josh Shapiro, the governor of Tennessee, was regarded by many as certain to be Kamala Harris's pick for the role of vice president as part of her campaign to defeat Donald Trump. Ultimately, she chose Tim Walz. The 6-minute speaking spot at the Democratic National Convention then was a good opportunity for Shapiro to position his own future credentials for a run for the presidency. Barack Obama used his 2004 keynote spot to catapult himself into the limelight as a relatively unknown 8-year senator from Illinois. Therefore, I was expecting a very good speech from Shapiro, but I was disappointed. To me, it seemed to fall flat. This evaluation has nothing to do with political affiliation because as an Aussie, I have no right to take part in the coming election. I'm just using his talk by way of analysis of what works and what doesn't, and as a guide for business people who give speeches. Now, we have to be careful of expert evaluations. I was watching a video from an American guy who was also evaluating the convention speeches. He started with, "I am a speech coach," and then made a fatal error, which for me at least, indicated he was a fraud or at least a total dud as far as being a speech coach is concerned. What did he say? He misquoted the famous research from Professor Albert Mehrabian on key factors when presenting. The dubious speech coach started telling everyone that what was being said was 7% of the impact, 38% was based on the voice, and 55% on how they appeared. That is total crap. And if you ever have that quoted to you, run far from that person because they are clueless and dangerous. Mehrabian's research had a critical caveat on when those numbers apply. He said that when what we say is incongruent with the way we say it, the audience gets distracted. They subsequently focus on how we sound and how we look, as opposed to what is the content of our talk. However, if we are congruent, then the audience pays attention to our message and is not distracted. So voice, quality, and how we dress becomes less important. Read over and back to Shapiro and what went wrong. I'm not just comparing him against the absolute. So let me include some other prominent speakers who were also considered for the role of vice president by Harris. I looked at Gretchen Whitmer and Mark Kelly's speeches. For me, I thought Kelly was wooden in his delivery and not able to really connect and engage his audience, so he is out as a model. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public courses, but we also do custom in-house programs. We do them in Japanese, we do them in English, we do them in our super safe classroom, and we do them live online. The show today is being brought to you by, on the 3rd of October, we're doing our Dale Carnegie course, 3-day version. On the 14th and 15th of October, we're doing our high impact presentations course. Our website is www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have over 2,300 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show on Japan, every Monday Tokyo time. Fridays we have the Japan Business Mastery Show, and on Saturdays we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from SMEs right up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Now, every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro television show. Don't forget to grab my business best-selling books on Japan on Amazon. Japan Sales Mastery, which is Saegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, or in Japanese, Anata mo Presen no Tachijin. My other books include Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muri suru wa yamemashou, and my just released new book is Japan Leadership Mastery, and all are available on Amazon. Welcome back. Whitmer was a star in my evaluation. Shapiro was talking at us, whereas Whitmer was speaking with us. Shapiro used only one volume control throughout his 6 minutes, strident. Whitmer used modulation and had variety in how she got her message across, sometimes soft, sometimes strong, and always engaging. In business talks, we want this facility to vary our delivery so that it isn't all soft or all strong, but mixed together and reformed in the right way at the right moments. Remember Morabian, we need congruency between the content and the delivery. A strong emphasis on a word lifts its appeal, as does an audibly whispered version, and we should use both. Whitmer employed personal stories and examples we could relate to in order to make her point. Shapiro was mainly using powerful motivational exhortations. I wondered whether the organisers had allocated different roles to each of the speakers, but I doubt that was the case. Each of these high-profile speakers would have worked on their speeches in isolation to best reflect what they wanted. Being told what to think by the speaker is not as effective as providing context, evidence, and laying out some alternate ideas. Constant and rigorous admonitions are hard for an audience to handle because it tires them out. You could tell from the applause that the audience was struggling. During Whitmer's speech, they were energized, and the difference was quite stark, I thought. So, when we are giving business talks, we should definitely be including relevant stories wherever we can. If we make these personal stories, that is the best, because audiences will identify more strongly in those cases. We're looking for points of agreement and commonality with the speaker, and we need more information about them to be able to do that. Just telling an audience what they need to do isn't going to provide that personal connection. Also, audiences don't remember statistics, as well as they remember stories. In business, we have tons of stories to draw on, but often we don't go looking hard enough to find them. We have plenty of numbers, but let's go find the stories we can wrap them in. We can't be lecturing the audience on how they should think about an issue. We need loud information and insight and guide the audience to agree with the stance we've arrived at based on the context and our experience with the issue. Whitmer used humor well to create a better personal connection with the audience, whereas Shapiro was deadly serious from word to go. Whitmer was relaxed and smiling, and Shapiro looked taut and ardent. In business, you look for ways to help our audience relax. Smiling is good, but somewhat difficult when you are feeling nervous. Humor is also not an easy one either, and that is why it is generally left to the professionals, comedians and politicians. Nevertheless, we can at least try to appear we are relaxed and happy to have the audience listen to us. Just a calm vibe is enough to help an audience relax. So we can take away some lessons from Shapiro and Whitmer and inject the learnings into our own talks. Did you get value from today's show? If you did, then share the love around with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Until the next episode, go out there and apply the learnings from today and become a presentations legend amongst your circle. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week. Remember, I'm in your corner, your go-to guy for soft skills training in Tokyo, committed to your success here in Nippon.